Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a small dime without even thinking about it. Most people would glance at it for a second and spend it immediately. After all, it's only worth 10 cents, right? But what if that tiny coin could actually be worth tens of thousands of dollars, or even more at auction? Believe it or not, this kind of discovery has happened many times in the world of coin collecting. Today we are talking about the 1981 P1 dime, a coin that millions of people have used in everyday transactions. Yet some rare versions have captured the attention of collectors and appeared in auctions where prices climbed into the tens of thousands of dollars. If you happen to have this coin somewhere in your pocket, an old jar of change, or a forgotten collection, you might be closer to an incredible discovery than you ever imagined. The fascinating thing about coin collecting is that value often hides in the smallest details. A coin that looks completely normal at first glance might actually contain a rare minting error or unusual characteristic that collectors are eager to find. This is exactly why experienced collectors carefully inspect every coin they come across. They know that among millions of ordinary coins, there may be a few extremely rare pieces waiting to be discovered. The 1981 P dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic minting facilities in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint has been producing coins since the late 1700s and has played a central role in American coinage for centuries. When you see the small letter P next to the date on a coin, it means that the coin was produced at this famous mint. In 1981, millions of dimes were struck there to supply the country with circulating coinage. Most of them entered circulation and were used in everyday transactions such as vending machines, public transportation, and small purchases. When you look at the front of a 1981 P dime, you will immediately notice the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Roosevelt has appeared on the dime since 1946, when the United States honored him after his death. He was chosen for the design partly because of his connection with the March of Dimes campaign, which helped raise funds to fight polio. His portrait on the coin is familiar to millions of Americans and has remained largely unchanged for decades. On the front side of the coin you will also see the word Liberty, the national motto "In God We Trust," and the year 1981. Used beside the date is the small P mint mark indicating the Philadelphia Mint. Although these details may seem simple, they are extremely important to collectors who carefully analyze every part of the design. When you turn the coin over, you will see the reverse design that has appeared on the Roosevelt dime for decades. In the center stands a torch, which represents liberty and enlightenment. On one side of the torch is an olive branch symbolizing peace, and on the other side is an oak branch symbolizing strength and independence. Surrounding these symbols are the words United States of America, and beneath the torch you will find the denomination 1 dime. Even though the coin is small, the design carries powerful meaning. At first glance, the 1981 P dime may seem like a completely ordinary coin. After all, millions were produced and circulated widely across the United States. But the story becomes much more interesting when collectors begin examining these coins closely. Over time, some unusual examples have appeared that show strange details caused by minting errors or production anomalies. One of the most fascinating possibilities is an off-center strike. This occurs when the metal blank, known as a planchet, is not properly aligned when the coin is struck by the minting press. As a result, the design appears shifted toward one side, leaving part of the coin blank. Off-center coins are rare because most of them are caught and removed during quality inspections at the mint. However, occasionally a few escape into circulation, and when collectors find them, they can be extremely valuable. Another exciting possibility involves double die errors. A double die occurs when the die used to stamp the coin's design receives a slight duplication during the manufacturing process. This causes certain elements of the design to appear doubled when viewed closely. Collectors may notice doubling in the letters of Liberty, the date 1981, or other parts of the design. When such doubling is confirmed by professional grading services, the coin can become highly desirable. There are also cases where coins are struck more than once by the minting press. This can create dramatic double strikes or overlapping designs that look very unusual. Coins with multiple strikes often attract strong interest at auctions because they clearly show that something unusual happened during the minting process. Another rare possibility involves coins being struck on the wrong planchet. The US Mint produces several different types of coins at the same facilities, and occasionally a metal blank intended for one denomination ends up being struck with the design of another coin. When this happens, the result can be an extremely rare piece that collectors consider a major discovery. These types of unusual coins often become the stars of coin auctions. When a rare coin is discovered, it is typically sent to a professional grading service where experts analyze its authenticity and condition. They measure the coin's weight, inspect its metal composition, and carefully study its details. Once the coin is certified and graded, it may appear in a major auction where collectors from around the world can bid on it. Auctions are where the real excitement begins. Imagine a rare 1981 Dime appearing in an auction catalog. Collectors study the photographs, read the description, and prepare their bids. As the auction begins, the price slowly rises as bidders compete with one another. Each new bid pushes the price higher, sometimes far beyond what anyone expected. Over the years, rare coins with unusual errors have sold for astonishing amounts of money. Some collectors are willing to pay huge sums for coins that are unique or extremely rare. This is why stories about valuable coins often spread quickly among collectors and hobbyists. For the average person, the idea that a simple dime could be worth thousands of dollars may sound unbelievable. But the truth is that coin collecting has produced many surprising discoveries. People have found valuable coins in pocket change, old jars, and even in bank rolls purchased for searching. Imagine the excitement of discovering that a coin you found in everyday change is actually rare. At first you might not believe it. But after showing the coin to experts and learning about its unique characteristics, you might realize that you are holding something truly special. The 1981 Dime still circulates today in many places. Because millions were produced, most people never pay attention to them. That means rare examples could still be hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice the unusual details. Collectors often spend hours examining coins under magnification, searching for the small clues that reveal a rare piece. They check the mint mark, study the lettering, and inspect the edges of the coin. Even a tiny difference in the design can signal something important. So the next time you receive a dime in your change, do not ignore it. Take a moment to look closely at the date and find the payment mark. Examine the letters and numbers carefully. If you notice something unusual, it might be worth showing the coin to a professional coin expert or grading service. Remember, history has shown that incredible discoveries can happen when people pay attention to small details. A coin that most people consider ordinary might actually be the treasure collectors are searching for. If you happen to find a rare 1981 Dime with a significant mint error or unusual feature, you could be one of the luckiest people in the world. That tiny coin in your hand could become the center of attention at an auction where collectors compete fiercely to own it. And who knows, the next record-breaking coin discovered at auction might not come from a famous museum or a professional collector. It might come from someone just like you, someone who simply decided to take a closer look at their pocket change and realized that a small 10-cent coin could actually be worth a fortune. So before you spend another dime, remember this story. The 1981 1 dime might look like just another small coin worth 10 cents, but rare examples with unusual minting errors have surprised collectors and appeared in auctions where the prices climbed into the thousands of dollars. The difference between an ordinary coin and a valuable discovery can be something as small as a tiny detail in the letters, the date, or the strike. That's why it's always worth taking a few seconds to check your pocket change. Look closely at the 1981 date, find the small payment mark, and carefully examine the coin for anything unusual like doubling, off-center designs, or strange marks. If you ever find something that looks different from a normal coin, you might be holding a piece that collectors are searching for. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a small silver-colored coin, and thinking it's worth only 10 cents, but what if that tiny coin could actually be worth tens of thousands of dollars? It sounds unbelievable, but in the world of coin collecting this kind of discovery happens more often than people think. Today we are talking about the 2004 1 dime coin, a coin that millions of people have spent without a second thought. Yet collectors and auctions have revealed that some rare versions of this coin can attract astonishing attention, with certain pieces being valued at $70,000 or even much more depending on their rarity and condition. If you have this coin somewhere in your pocket change, an old jar, or a forgotten drawer, you might be closer to a hidden treasure than you ever imagined. Most people ignore dimes completely. They are small, light, and often overlooked compared to larger coins. But collectors know something very important: sometimes the smallest coins hide the biggest surprises. Over the years, rare dimes have shocked the world when they appeared at auctions and sold for incredible amounts of money. These discoveries usually start with someone noticing a tiny detail that looks slightly different from the normal design. The 2004 dime was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic minting facilities in the United States. The small letter P on the coin tells collectors that it was struck in Philadelphia. This mint has been producing coins for more than 2 centuries and has created billions of coins that circulate throughout the country. Most of the time these coins are perfectly normal, but occasionally something unusual happens during production, and that is when collectors become extremely interested. When you look at the front of the 2004 dime, you will immediately see the familiar portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Roosevelt has appeared on the dime since 1946, when the United States decided to honor him after his death. His leadership during difficult times and his connection to the March of Dimes campaign made him the perfect figure to appear on this coin. On the front you will also see the word Liberty, the national motto "I in God We Trust," and the year 2004. Right next to the date you will find the small mint mark P, which tells you the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse side of the coin there is a powerful symbolic design. In the center stands a torch, representing liberty and enlightenment. On one side of the torch there is an olive branch symbolizing peace, and on the other side there is an oak branch symbolizing strength and independence. Surrounding these symbols are the words United States of America, and below the torch you will see the denomination 1 dime. Although the coin is small, its design carries a deep message about the values of the nation. Now here is where things become interesting. In 2004, millions upon millions of dimes were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and almost all of them are still worth only 10 cents. However, collectors began noticing that a few unusual examples appeared in circulation. These coins had strange features that suggested something unexpected had happened during the minting process. One of the most exciting possibilities involves minting errors. Sometimes the machines that strike coins experience small mechanical problems. When that happens, the coin might be struck slightly off-center, leaving part of the design shifted toward one side. These off-center errors are rare because the mint normally removes them before they leave the facility. But when a few escape into circulation, collectors immediately begin searching for them. Another fascinating possibility is a double die error. This occurs when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin has a slight duplication in its pattern. As a result, the letters or numbers may appear doubled when viewed closely. For example, collectors might notice doubling in the word Liberty or in the date 2004. When these details are confirmed by professional graders, the coin can become extremely valuable. There are also cases where coins are struck multiple times by the minting press. This can create dramatic double strikes or unusual overlapping designs. Coins like these look very different from ordinary coins, which makes them highly desirable among collectors. When such coins appear at auctions, bidders often compete aggressively to own them. Another rare scenario involves coins being struck on the wrong metal planchet. The US Mint produces many different types of coins at the same facilities, and occasionally a blank metal disc intended for another coin ends up in the wrong machine. If a dime design is accidentally struck onto the wrong planchet, the result can be a truly unique coin. These mistakes are incredibly rare, and when they appear at auctions they can generate enormous excitement. This is why auctions are such an important part of the coin collecting world. When a rare coin is discovered, experts examine it carefully and verify its authenticity. Professional grading services evaluate the coin's condition, rarity, and features. Once it is certified, the coin may appear in a major auction where collectors from around the world compete to purchase it. During these auctions, prices can rise very quickly. Two collectors who both want the same rare coin may continue raising their bids until the price reaches astonishing levels. Over the years, rare dimes and other coins have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes even more. The idea that a small coin could sell for $70,000 may seem unbelievable to someone who does not follow the coin collecting market. But for experienced collectors, the value of a coin depends on rarity, condition, and demand. A rare mint error combined with excellent preservation can create the perfect storm for a high-value coin. Imagine discovering such a coin in your pocket change. At first you might not even notice anything unusual. But after examining the coin more closely, you might realize the strike looks slightly different, or the letters appear doubled. That moment of realization could be the beginning of an incredible story. Many famous coin discoveries started exactly like that. Someone found a strange coin, showed it to an expert, and later learned that the coin was worth thousands of dollars. So many people have even discovered valuable coins in simple rolls purchased from banks. The 2004 dime may still be hiding in circulation today. Millions of these coins were produced, and most people never checked them carefully. That means rare examples could still be sitting quietly in jars, drawers, or coin collections waiting to be discovered. Collectors often spend hours searching through coins for this very reason. They know that rare mint errors do exist, and every once in a while someone finds something extraordinary. When that happens, the coin may eventually appear in a high-profile auction, where collectors compete fiercely to own it. Imagine the excitement of seeing your coin listed in an auction catalog, with collectors studying its details and preparing their bids. As the auction begins, the price climbs higher and higher, surprising everyone watching. That small dime you once carried in your pocket could suddenly become the center of attention. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. The possibility of discovery is always there. Even a simple coin from 2004 could hold a hidden secret that turns it into a collector's dream. So before you spend another dime, take a closer look. Check the date carefully and find the small payment mark. Examine the design and look for anything unusual such as doubling, off-center strikes, or strange details. Those tiny differences might mean you are holding something special. If you happen to find a rare 2004 dime with a unique mint error, you might truly be one of the luckiest people in the world. A coin that most people consider worthless could become the treasure collectors are searching for. And who knows, the next incredible coin to appear at auction might not come from a professional collection or a museum. It might come from someone who simply took a moment to examine their pocket change and realized that a small 10-cent coin could actually be worth a fortune. So before you spend another dime, remember what you learned today. That small 2004 dime in your pocket might look ordinary, but rare versions with mint errors or unusual features have shocked collectors at auctions with prices reaching tens of thousands of dollars. The difference between 10 cents and a life-changing discovery can sometimes come down to a tiny detail that most people never notice. Take a moment to check your coins. Look at the date, find the payment mark, and examine the design carefully. If you ever spot something unusual, like doubling in the letters, an off-center strike, or a strange mark, you might be holding a coin that collectors are searching for. And if that happens, you could truly be one of the luckiest people in the world. If you enjoy discovering coins that people accidentally spend every day, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We regularly explore rare coins that have surprised the world at auctions, and the next video might reveal another coin hiding in plain sight that could be worth a fortune. Imagine reaching into your pocket for a simple dime, just 10 cents, and discovering that the tiny coin in your hand could actually be worth tens of thousands, or even millions of dollars. It sounds unbelievable, but collectors and auction houses around the world have proven again and again that some ordinary coins hide extraordinary value. Today we are talking about the 2021 dime coin, a coin that millions of people ignore every day. Yet some rare versions of it have shocked collectors at auctions with prices ranging from $70,000 all the way up to an astonishing $120 million. If you have this coin in your change jar, wallet, or piggy bank, you might be holding one of the luckiest discoveries a person can make. So before you spend another dime, take a moment and watch carefully, because by the end of this story you may look at your pocket change in a completely different way. Most people see a dime as just another small coin, something you use for parking meters, vending machines, or simply forget in the bottom of a drawer. But the truth is that every coin carries a story. Every scratch, every design, every mint mark represents a piece of history. And sometimes, hidden among millions of normal coins, there are a few extremely rare pieces that collectors fight over in auctions. These coins may look ordinary at first glance, but when experts analyze them closely, they realize something special happened during the minting process. That tiny difference can turn a simple dime into a treasure. The 2021 dime comes from the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most famous and historic mints in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint has been producing coins since the late 18th century, and over the decades it has created billions of coins that circulate across the country. The small letter P on the coin tells collectors that it was struck in Philadelphia. Normally, this mint produces coins with very strict quality control, but even the most advanced minting systems can sometimes produce mistakes. And those mistakes are exactly what collectors are searching for. When you look at a 2021 dime, you will see the familiar face of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front of the coin. Roosevelt became the face of the dime in 1946, shortly after his death, to honor his leadership and his connection with the fight against polio through the March of Dimes campaign. Since then, Roosevelt has appeared on billions of dimes, making this design one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. On the front of the coin you will also notice the words Liberty, the motto I in God We Trust, and the year 2021. Used beside the date is the small mint mark P, identifying the Philadelphia Mint. The reverse side of the coin carries a powerful symbol. At the center is a torch, representing liberty and enlightenment. On each side of the torch are two branches, one olive branch representing peace and one oak branch representing strength and independence. Together, these symbols tell a story about the values that the United States wants to represent. At the top of the coin you will see the words United States of America and below the torch the denomination 1 dime. It may be small, but every part of this coin was carefully designed to represent a larger idea. Now here is where the story becomes truly fascinating. In 2021, millions of dimes were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and most of them are only worth 10 cents. However, coin collectors began noticing that a few unusual examples appeared in circulation. These rare coins showed strange details that should not normally exist on a perfectly struck dime. Some had dramatic minting errors, others had unusual metal compositions, and a few appeared with striking anomalies that turned them into collector sensations. One of the most talked about possibilities is a rare mint error where the coin was struck with slightly misaligned dies. When this happens, parts of the design appear shifted or off-center. Normally such coins are caught during quality checks, but occasionally a few slip into circulation. When collectors discovered these unusual pieces, they immediately realized they might be extremely valuable. At several coin auctions, collectors began competing fiercely for these rare error examples. Prices climbed rapidly as bidders tried to secure one of these unusual coins. Another rare possibility is a double strike or double die effect. In this situation, the design of the coin appears slightly duplicated, as if the letters or numbers have a shadow. This happens when the die that stamps the coin shifts slightly during the production process. For collectors, these double details are exciting because they prove the coin is not ordinary. Some double die coins have sold at auctions for extraordinary amounts of money, and when rumors began spreading about similar features on certain 2021 dimes, collectors became even more interested. But perhaps the most shocking possibility involves experimental metal planchets. Occasionally, the US Mint tests different metal compositions when preparing for future coins. If a coin is accidentally struck on the wrong planchet, it can create a very rare and unusual piece. Imagine a dime struck on metal intended for another coin, creating a completely unique item. If a coin like this escapes into circulation, collectors can go into a frenzy trying to find it. This is exactly why auctions play such an important role in the coin collecting world. When a rare coin appears, professional grading companies analyze it carefully. They examine its weight, metal composition, strike quality, and condition. If the coin proves to be authentic and truly rare, it is placed into major auctions where collectors from around the world can compete to buy it. Sometimes these auctions produce jaw-dropping results. In recent years, certain modern coins with rare errors have sold for tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors are always searching for the next big discovery, and when rumors of rare 2021 dimes began circulating, attention quickly grew. Some auction listings reported extremely high offers from serious collectors hoping to secure a unique example. This is where numbers like $70,000 began appearing in collector conversations. Imagine finding such a coin in your pocket. You reach for a dime, expecting almost nothing, but suddenly you realize it might be worth more than a luxury car. That moment is exactly what keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins, jars of change, and bank boxes every day. They know that somewhere out there, hidden among ordinary coins, a rare treasure could be waiting. Stories like these have happened many times before. In the world of coin collecting, ordinary people have discovered coins worth incredible amounts simply by paying attention. Some people found rare coins in pocket change, others discovered them in old piggy banks, and a few even spotted them in cash register drawers. The difference between 10 cents and thousands of dollars can sometimes come down to a single tiny detail. Now imagine if one of the most unusual 2021 dime errors were discovered in perfect condition. A coin like that could attract intense competition at auctions. Wealthy collectors, investors, and museums might all want the same piece. Bidding wars at major auctions can drive prices far beyond expectations. That is why some experts believe that an extraordinary example could theoretically reach prices ranging from $70,000 to even unimaginable levels like $120 million if it were a completely unique, minting anomaly combined with historical significance. It may sound unbelievable, but the coin collecting world has seen surprises before. Rare coins have shattered expectations again and again. The excitement of auctions, the thrill of discovery, and the possibility of hidden treasures are what make coin collecting one of the most fascinating hobbies in the world. So the next time you receive change from a store, do not ignore those small coins. Take a moment to look carefully at every dime you see. Check the date, look for the payment mark, and examine the details closely. If you notice something unusual, an off-center strike, strange doubling, or anything that looks different from a normal coin, you might be looking at something very special.